Heaven has no meaning.
Welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. Ever wondered what it would be like if emotions, impulses, and ideas were actual people? Not just symbolic representations, but real, immortal beings who walk through time and space like it's just another Tuesday. That's the Sandman for you. Neil Gaiman's legendary comic where concepts like dream, death, and desire aren't just metaphors. They're family, dysfunctional, cosmic, reality-shaping family. And with Netflix bringing the Sandman to the screen, it's time more people met the endless. 7 timeless beings who are as powerful as they are complex. But among them, who really holds the most power? Who shapes the universe and who's just along for the ride? Let's break down every member of the Endless and rank them by power, from the passive observers to the forces that even gods fear. Destiny. At the bottom of the ranking is Destiny, which might come as a surprise. As the blind, robed figure holding a giant book chained to his wrist, Destiny knows everything that ever was, is, and will be. His book contains the entire history of the universe, every action, every thought, every consequence. He is omniscient. But here's the paradox. For all his knowledge, Destiny doesn't act. He is a passive observer, a servant to fate rather than its master. He does not shape events but merely follows the course already set in his book. In many ways, he resembles Dr. Manhattan from Watchmen, powerful beyond comprehension, but emotionally and spiritually detached. Destiny does not manipulate events or interfere in mortal or divine affairs unless he absolutely must, which is rare. This philosophical inaction, his acceptance of everything as predestined, renders him less effective in terms of influence. His knowledge could potentially dwarf all other powers, but because he chooses to do nothing with it, his cosmic power feels dulled. He is the map, not the cartographer. Despair. Despair is the twin of desire and represents the hopelessness, sadness, and ruin that haunt living beings. She is almost always portrayed naked, her body covered in scars, and she carries a hook which she uses to wound herself, a reflection of how internal suffering manifests externally. Despair's power is immense because her realm is universal. Every soul that experiences loss, depression, or self-hate is under her domain. She thrives in the darkness inside people, feeding off their moments of weakness and failure. But while her dominion is vast, Despair herself is inward-facing. She does not seek power, nor does she influence others actively. She's overwhelmed by the very emotion she personifies. Centuries of absorbing the world's pain have hollowed her out. Her emotional paralysis is her greatest weakness. She's not a puppet master or a creator. She simply is a mirror to human suffering. For that reason, she's ranked low in terms of active power. Her presence is more ambient than forceful. Delirium. Delirium was once delight, a bright and joyous presence among the endless. But something changed. No one knows exactly what broke her, but she became Delirium. Embodying madness, chaos, and unpredictability, her power is wild and vast. She can distort reality, shift time, and unravel a person's sanity with mere presence. Her thoughts dart across planes of logic and meaning. She embodies what it means to be unhinged, to live without structure. But her unpredictability is a double-edged sword. Delirium often doesn't understand her own power or the consequences of her actions. Her mind is fragmented, childlike one moment and dangerously lucid the next. Despite her volatility, she is deeply compassionate and protective of her siblings. That kindness, combined with her latent power, suggests that if she ever truly focused, she could be one of the most dangerous forces in the universe. But that potential is locked behind layers of chaos. Destruction. Destruction is unique among the endless because he walked away from his responsibilities. When humanity began inventing science and technology capable of mass destruction, Destruction resigned. He didn't want to be complicit in what he saw as senseless carnage. But destruction never ceased to exist. His realm continues. Things are still being destroyed every second. That's the brilliance of his character. Destruction doesn't need a guide, it's inevitable. He lives a peaceful life creating art, poetry, and exploring beauty. Yet, when he acts, he is immensely powerful. He represents both the literal destruction of matter and the metaphorical end of eras, relationships, and identities. What makes destruction formidable is that even in his absence, the universe obeys his principle. The fact that destruction happens without his oversight shows how deeply entrenched his domain is. If he returned to his post, the sheer force he could wield would be terrifying. But like destiny, his non-participation tempers his power. Desire. Desire is manipulative, cunning, and ever-present. Represented as a beautiful androgynous being, desire is the force behind every longing, ambition, craving, and need. They do not just influence mortals, they control gods, drive kings to madness, and even attempt to manipulate their siblings. Everything begins with a desire. Wars, religions, love, betrayal, all fueled by want. In that sense, desire might be the most relatable of the endless, but also one of the most dangerous. What makes desire powerful is their constant interference. Unlike destiny or despair, desire takes joy in meddling. They plant ideas, create obsession, and set events into motion just to see the results. They once even tried to trick Dream into killing a child who was technically part of the Endless family, which would have forced Dream to spill familial blood, a cosmic crime. That plan failed, but it proved how far desire is willing to go. Their influence is insidious and stretches across every realm. While they might not control time or death, they manipulate motivation, and that makes them a silent force behind every major event in the cosmos.
There is them forever.
Dream, also known as Morpheus, is the protagonist of the Sandman and the personification of imagination, storytelling, and dreams. But his power is far from abstract. He controls the dreaming, a realm that connects all sentient minds. He creates and maintains nightmares, builds landscapes out of thought, and governs the dreams of gods, monsters, and mortals alike. But Dream is more than just a ruler of slumber. He shapes reality through stories. What separates Dream from his siblings is his responsibility. He takes his role seriously, holding himself to rules and codes that even other Endless disregard. This often makes him seem cold, but it also gives him direction. Dream has the power to trap beings for eternity, resurrect mythic figures from memory, and even confront Lucifer Morningstar and survive. He reshapes the minds of those who dream, meaning everyone. His stories change the universe, and through them, Dream proves that creation can be more enduring than destruction. He is not the strongest, but he is among the most essential, standing at the center of imagination and meaning. Death. At the top of the list stands Death. Appearing as a kind, gothic young woman, Death might seem like the friendliest of the Endless. But make no mistake, she is the most powerful. Every living thing dies. Gods, stars, even dreams. And when they do, Death is there to guide them. She was not the first to appear among her siblings, but she will be the last to go when the universe dies its final death. Death's role is not just limited to mortals. Even powerful beings like Lucifer, angels, and the Endless themselves must one day face her, and they do so with respect. What makes Death so powerful is her inevitability. While desire may manipulate and dream may create, only Death brings closure. She is the full stop at the end of every sentence, the silence after the song ends. She has never been defeated, never been tricked, never been overpowered. Her authority is absolute, yet she carries it with compassion and humility. That makes her not only the most powerful, but also the most beloved. Her siblings fear her, not because she is cruel, but because she is undeniable. Even the mightiest being must one day walk with her hand in theirs.
Run!
Our nerdy thoughts. The Endless aren't just cosmic entities, they are ideas. Living, breathing metaphors for the parts of existence we all experience. Dreams, death, desire, destruction, destiny, despair, and madness. Ranking them is less about raw power and more about how they wield it. Some, like desire and dream, actively shape the world. Others, like destiny and despair, exist passively, but death stands above all, not with force, but with inevitability. She is the end that gives everything meaning. With The Sandman coming to Netflix, audiences will soon meet these enigmatic and fascinating figures, but readers already know they've always been here, watching, waiting, dreaming, and one day, when the final breath is drawn, death will be there to say, "You were alive once." That's what matters.
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.